It's time for The Frangie Show on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Game week for all the colleges coming up. Welcome to the program. That's your new drug today. The Knowles already started. Not a good start for Florida State. Gators and Canes and Dogs this week. Frangie and Carlyon and La Selva. Jags, Hays in the barn. That's the phrase. You know, that's a football phrase. Hays in the barn.
That's right. It is definitely in the barn. It's some good-looking hay, too.
Yeah, good hay. Good hay.
We got some good hay this year, I think.
First time on the air since our time on the air since they finished off the preseason. Very successful trip. Again, I don't make too much of winning against backups, but in fairness to the Jags, you can only beat the teams you play. You can't tell Raheem Morris who to play. I still think the Penix thing was weird. Why?
The whole thing is weird. It was a stupid pick. They've handled it in stupid fashion, and it will probably end up biting them.
So you're saying it's a stupid decision executed stupidly?
Yes, it's been stupid throughout, and continues to be.
But it really was weird to me that why would you not play him?
I mean, unless you think Kirk Cousins isn't going to be ready September 8th.
Well, I guess, okay.
I don't know why you would think that. He's gone through practice. He's been long since cleared from the Achilles tear. So unless there's a setback that they have just kept really, really quiet and they're worried about his week one availability, doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, you're right. And you're right, but it makes no sense. You're right. That's I didn't think about that. Are they protecting him in case they don't have Cousins? Maybe that's it. But the whole thing felt weird to me.
I agree. I think it feels incredibly weird, and just like it did on draft night when it was like, what are the Atlanta Falcons doing? They just paid Kirk Cousins, who's not 41.
Right.
He's 36.
Right.
All this money, and now you're basically putting a 2-year expiration date on it.
Yeah. The whole thing felt a little bit weird to me.
Yeah. But it was a good performance, and they're off and running. This week will be light, and and basically getting ready for the Dolphins.
Do you were you surprised by Travis Gibson?
I wasn't, in the sense that it really felt like he was in a battle to make the team.
Right.
So when I first heard about the trade, I figured it was going to be a 7th. To get a 6th-round pick for a guy that you were probably going to cut, that's fantastic. I mean, again, it doesn't seem like much now, but they've got 10 picks now in that draft. Again, Trent Baalke could be aggressive in the next 24 hours with adding a player if a player is going to get released. Because, again, the Jaguars are so far down the waiver claim process, you're not really going to get anybody off of waivers that's probably going to help you, because you got so many clubs, you got half the league in front of you that can go, thumbs up or thumbs down on the player before it gets to you. So, yeah, I mean, I think I feel bad for the player, because he had, I thought, a clear path when he signed here to being the right in the mix of a situational rotational role, and he wasn't able to make it happen. And so now he goes to Seattle right before the opener. Now they've had an injury, which is why they were so motivated to make the trade. But look, you get a 6th-round pick for a guy that wasn't going to be on the team. Great move.
Yeah, I'm not sure he was particularly good in camp. I don't think he had a very good camp.
Yeah, and you've got a 7th-rounder in Miles Cole that you want to see developed.
And who emerged.
Yeah, and DJ Coleman's had a nice camp. And so, yeah, I mean, and again, this is the other thing, too, is, if it's – you're talking about that 4th spot, if it's Josh Hines-Allen, Trayvon Walker, and Eric Armstead, it still feels strange to me to count him more there.
Yeah.
But that is – Doug made it – that's how they view it. So, I mean, it's, if you're talking about your 4th guy and, you like the 7th-rounder, I mean, it makes sense to me.
Yeah. But I thought Cole was pretty good. And he came on. DJ Coleman. Also, Cole's 6'6", DJ Coleman 6'5", and some change. Travis Gibson isn't quite as long as those guys. Armstead's long and Roy Robertson Harris is long, and they like those. They like the 6'6", 6'7" guys. I mean, both Josh Allen and Trayvon Walker are all a 6'5". So I don't think so when I saw it, I'm not going to say I expected it, because I didn't, but it didn't shock me. I knew he had not had a great camp.
Well, and we've talked about, are they going to have guys, from player 54 through 58 that aren't going to make this team, but might have some value to, particularly, again, competent to winning clubs who are not going to be able to take advantage of the waiver wire because of where they stand. So why wouldn't you, again, in Seattle's case, I view Seattle as kind of a middle-of-the-road team, but a middle-of-the-road to very good team, you're going to work the phones because you're not going to get that guy, on waivers. And so, it's now it'll be interesting to see, do the Jaguars make a similar deal? Do they get an additional pick, somewhere else? Because I still think you look at the offensive line room, you look at the secondary, you look at the receiver room. Could there be somebody that they're getting prepared to cut that might be a tradable asset in the minds of one of the other 31? I think there is a case for that, but it also makes me wonder, are the Jaguars now, maybe not because of this move, but now armed with 10 picks, do you maybe look a little bit more aggressively at doing something that's going to benefit your 53 now? And again, if they don't do anything and they have those 10 picks, then with all these players that are getting paid a lot of money, you need as many players on rookie contracts as you can get. So if they make it to next year's draft with 10 picks, that's great too, because then that's 10 guys coming in that, have a chance to make your club, and they're going to be cheap for 4 years.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. All right, a lot of things to talk about today on the program. Let's start with the Florida State Seminoles and Georgia Tech. I'll say this. What a fantastic game. Obviously, it's hard for the Noles because they lost and they're expected to win. But what a game. Back and forth. Came down to the end.
No turnovers.
Not
How often do you see that?
Not a turnover in the game. Not a whole lot of penalties in the game. It was a fantastic. Again, if you're a Nole fan, you'll feel that because you lost the game. 2 or 3 thoughts on the game that at least jumped off the page for me. Number one, it's not now that you're in a 12-team playoff, it's not the end of the world if you lose. You're losing the game isn't what's devastating to Florida State. You lose, you come back. If you make the championship game, even if you don't win it, you're probably in the tournament. You go 10-2, make the championship game, make the ACC game, you're probably in the tournament. The bigger concern is, did it reveal some things that may mean you're losing more games? It's losing the game. If you start winning now, you're okay. But it did reveal some things. 2 or 3 thoughts. That's one case where Haynes King and 4 of those 5 linemen and a bunch of guys had been in the same system. They came back and they played on the same team. I'm not sure they were better than the Florida State players, but I thought they were the better team that night or that day because they knew what they were doing. DJ Uiagalelei, and we'll talk a lot about him, but there were so many. Again, we know when you listen to a broadcast now, the 3 words you hear from every play-by-play guy, the transfer from Alabama, the transfer from North Carolina, the transfer from. And I thought Florida State had so much newness. Honest to God, Toafili's not new, but boy, oh boy, in the one receiver, number 0 is not. But most of them are new guys. Yeah, and they may be good, but I thought they were new. And I'll say this, and be fair to Georgia Tech, this wasn't some fluke.
Not at all.
It wasn't a fluke where Georgia Tech got a couple calls. In fact, I thought Florida State played the cleaner game. Georgia Tech shot itself in the foot a bunch. Think about this. Georgia Tech missed a field goal. FSU made 2 bombs. Georgia Tech committed 2 big defensive penalties. One, the rough in the passer on the face, the face mask on the rough on the quarterback
on 3rd and long.
On 3rd and long, and one on the pass interference. Both led to FSU touchdowns. FSU didn't make a lot of critical penalties.
They only had 1 penalty in the game.
Right. So 2 big mistakes. And Georgia Tech had 2 costly fumbles. They recovered both of them, but the last one you thought it was going to be devastating, and the guy ripped off a 13-yard run on the very next play. And so Georgia Tech overcame some shooting itself in the foot, still won the game, outrushed Florida State by almost 100 yards. So they were the more physical team. So, again, it's only one game, and one game doesn't a season make, but it was a tough start for FSU against a really physical Georgia Tech team.
Without a doubt, and again, for that Florida State defensive front to be billed as, perhaps the greatest in the country, what an absolute farce. And again, the only thing that would explain the performance is if you find out in a day or two that they had 20 players get sick because of the trip or something. Because it is a very unique trip to fly over to Ireland for your first game. Who knows if they had some sort of mass illness. But, that's about the only thing that I think would excuse the performance because they got pushed around. I haven't seen an FSU defensive front getting pancaked play after play after play, not seeing things the right way. I mean, I agree with you. It was no fluke. If it was a 7-game series, I'd pick Georgia Tech to win it in 6 based on what I saw. They've got a lot of problems. Forget even the quarterback play. I was shocked at how bad they were in the trenches. To allow an 11-play, 89-yard touchdown drive after you blast the punt returner to get some momentum back in the game, and then you come back after that and you allow a 12-play drive for 49 yards that leads to the game-winning field goal. To your point, you allow Georgia Tech to escape 2 just debacles, that 2 unforced errors in terms of ball handling. I still don't know how Florida State didn't get the fumble that led to the 3rd and 12 conversion. And then you mentioned the one right at the end of the game where they don't play the numbers right on it, and it's a pretty easy pitch and catch for an easy 10, 12-yard gain to put them right back in field goal territory. I would be incredibly concerned if I was Florida State.
And you can't dismiss DJ. You can't dismiss the fact that, look, he's what you got now. And DJ Uiagalelei in his career has been, you know what he's been? He's been okay. He had decent numbers at Oregon State last year. The pressing the ball down the field part, and give him credit now. He made 2 big boy plays on 4th down on the touchdown drive. The first one, Georgia Tech rushed 3 and used a multiple coverage, and he sat back there and he waited and he went to a 2nd or 3rd progression and made a big time throw. The second 4th down play, they set the house. He picked it up immediately. Those are 2 totally different things. And he picked it up immediately, got the ball out, and completed it. So he was really good on that drive. I'm sure Mike Norvell's got to think, is it on us to push the ball down the field more than we did? Maybe we erred. By not pushing, not trying.
By the way, where did Toafili disappear to?
I
thought halfway through the first quarter, I was like, he's headed to 200 yards of offense and a performance that's going to remind us of like Marshall Faulk. Made the great catch on 3rd down when DJU put it
behind him
behind him. Made a great catch there. Obviously had the 28-yard touchdown run. I don't know that he touched the ball again.
Yeah, it was a really weird game, and it was. And listen, and we talked. Are you shocked? No one was shocked. I was surprised. I thought FSU was going to win, but you and I said, and really everybody said, this was going to be a 3rd, 4th quarter game. If Georgia Tech won 4 of its last 6 games last year, the only losses were Clemson and Georgia. How many times did we say that?
Right.
And they were playing at a good level, and again, they were a 10-point underdog, not a 30-point underdog. So the feeling was it was going to be a close game.
And that's the thing now. If you're Florida State, you have to hope that Georgia Tech is good but not great, because if they're great, they might take one of your spots away in terms of the ACC title game. But they can't be bad either. They need to Florida State needs to somehow finish above Georgia Tech. They're a game and a half back of the Yellow Jackets right now as they sit in 17th place in the ACC. And as you look at it, they've got to find a way to obviously dig out of this hole, but they've got to hope now that Georgia Tech is good, but not great, because they've got to overtake them.
And one final thing about the Noles. We're going to talk about the Noles. We're going to start with the Jaguars in a minute and get to the Noles coming up in a bit. Bucky Brooks at the top of the hour, back to Jaguars in. What benefits Florida State is their schedule. The next 3 games are home games against BC, Memphis, and Cal. Florida State, be glad you're not in that league you're trying to get into now. Okay, I mean, this is one. I know you don't like the ACC and you're trying to get out of it. But be glad you're in it this year.
Right. I mean, and SMU is terrible. I watched a lot of their games.
Should have lost to Nevada. Should have lost.
I mean, they're terrible. So that at SMU game that people started to kind of bandy about might be tough. Shame on FSU if they lose at SMU.
Yeah. So the next 3 games are BC, Memphis, and Cal, all at home, and then that trip to SMU. But anyway, it'll be an interesting season. Again, the Noles lost the game and let me say this too, by the way. Did Florida State fans show up for that game or what?
Oh, yeah.
That was amazing. I will tell you. I mean, it's in Ireland. It's not like they were playing. It's not like it was a neutral site game in Atlanta. That game was in Ireland, and I'm telling you, that's as good as I've ever seen an opposing team turn out to an international game, any level. And, I mean, wasn't it amazing?
It was.
I mean, at any level.
But the Georgia Tech fans let you know they were there once the kick went through.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, wow.
Yeah. They are here.
They are here.
Okay. But it really was. All right, lots of things to talk about. Let's start with Trayvon Walker. The Jaguar defensive end, I think, is going to have such a big year. You caught up with him today. That's the Hays Carlyon one-on-one. We'll talk a little bit about the 53, our thoughts on that. After that, we'll talk some Seminoles football. Bucky Brooks at the top of the hour. What did he think about this final Jaguar preseason game? Got a lot to do. Glad you're with us on a Monday. Our Mondays are always brought to you, by the way, by the Best Bet. Our friends at the Best Bet do such an outstanding job. 3 fantastic locations. Best Bet St. Augustine, that's the newest one. It's gorgeous in there. Best Bet Orange Park on 17, and, of course, that Best Bet Jacksonville location. You know that one very well over there on Monument Road. Let's talk some Jaguars football after this on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Hey, folks, if you're looking for an automobile, this summer, happiness is a brand new Chevy. Like a new Chevy Silverado from Nimnick Chevrolet. This month, you can save up to $10,000 off a new Silverado. For well-qualified buyers, you can get rates as low as 1.9% financing on all new Silverado 1500 models. With the largest inventory on the ground, outstanding cash incentives, and the best price guarantee, your perfect truck is waiting for you at Nimnick Chevrolet. Now remember, Nimnick will always give you top dollar for your trade, and for a limited time, up to an additional $2,250 in trade assistance. What a great deal that is. And ask about our demo models for even deeper discounts. Shop online 24/7 at nimnickchevy.com or visit the dealership, conveniently located at the corner of Park and Cassett. Who's got more new Silverados at the best prices? Nobody but Nimnick.
1010XL takes you inside the program director's office with Dan and Jeff.
I don't like your style,
The Drill,
your politics, or your sense of humor.
mornings
I don't like what you say or how you say it.
on 1010XL.
Blah, 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 blah.
Hi, folks. I'm Frank Frangie for Ricketts Electric. Now, any good lineup needs power. When I needed a power connection for our new Walk-Off Charities baseball park, I found the perfect partner in Ricketts Electric. You're going to love these guys, I'm telling you. The Ricketts family has been providing commercial and residential electric service for years. So call my buddy Zach Ricketts today at 904-320-5960, and you can find them on Facebook as well. You will trust them. That's Ricketts Electric, the city's best power connection. Call them today at 320-5960.
This is Hays Carlyon for Harold and Harold. I was at lunch with my good friend Holt, and he was telling me that sometimes a lawyer can get more from a case than their own client. I was surprised to hear this, but Holt said that doesn't happen with Harold and Harold. They'll never take a fee that is greater than their own client. When they say they treat their clients as a person and not a file, they mean it. Hopefully you won't need them, but if you're ever injured, call Harold and Harold at 904-251-1111. That's 904-251-1111.
Former Jaguars corner and first-year head football coach at Duval Charter School at Bay Meadows, K-12, Aaron Beasley here. Are you looking for an A-rated K-12 school prioritizing academics, arts, and athletics? Duval Charter School at Bay Meadows offers a rigorous curriculum to develop strong minds with an additional focus on growing good hearts. DCSB has been an A school for 8 years, and our tuition is free. Now enrolling. Apply at baymeadowscharter.org.
Baloo here for Smunez Vision. Why Smunez Vision? Well, I've been with Dr. Neil Smunez now since I got back to Jacksonville in 2006. 37 years of experience he has. Smunez Vision is a family organization that focuses on personal high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Dr. Catherine Smunez is fellowship trained in cornea and cataract surgery and all refractive surgery. Combined, that's 30 years plus in laser eye surgery. Visit SmunezVision.com today. Care you can see.
Hon, what do you say we go to the supermarket today?
Again? Weren't we just there yesterday?
Well, yeah, but it's just so nice and cool in there.
Why don't we just get our air conditioning fixed?
Can we afford it?
We can with Duck Duck Air Conditioning. They offer financing.
Oh, cool.
Yes, it will be.
Beat the Florida heat with Duck Duck Air Conditioning. Jacksonville area's AC experts. Repairs to new installations. Trust the Duck to keep your cooling costs low. DuckDuckAC.com.
On the field, he brought the boom.
I'll always be a linebacker at heart.
He brings that attitude to the microphone.
I'm Jaguars Today's middle linebacker, Kyle McMahon.
Friday from 10 to noon. Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson Windows and Doors on 1010XL.
Tickets are on sale now for this year's Florida Forum Speaker Series featuring former UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson, physician and author Deepak Chopra, and author of Bad Monkey and Hoot, Floridian novelist Carl Hiaasen. Funds raised are for Kids Care Mobile ICUs, neonatal and pediatric critical care transport vehicles. These vehicles and helicopters safely transport more than 2,000 infants and children a year to Wolfson Children's Hospital. Get your tickets now at thefloridaforum.com.
Jags fans, a new Everbank Performance account could be your ticket to London this October. Through the Everbank London Getaway, one lucky winner and a guest will receive round-trip airfare, hotel accommodations, and a pair of tickets to see the Jags play in London. To learn more and for official rules, visit everbank.com/London. No person necessary to enter or win. Open to legal residents of 50 United States and D.C. 18 or older. Entry period for the Everbank London Getaway Suites is from 8/5/24 to 9/5/24. To enter and for official rules, alternate method of entry, prize description, odds of winning, and other details, visit everbank.com/London. Sponsor and administrator, Everbank N.A.
Googan Nation, it's Dreamfinders Danny Hicken here to tell you this is no dream. The folks at Dreamfinders Homes right now have an unbeatable interest rate for you. You may not think you can afford a Dreamfinders home. Well, think again. Take advantage of a 2.99% year one rate. I said it, 2.99%. 15 Jacksonville communities to choose from. Find that dream house and take advantage of an unbeatable rate. Move now, literally. Dreamfinders Homes, the official home builder of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
If you're about to order a floral arrangement for someone you love, then take it from me, 1010XL's JJ LaSalva. Use Kuhn Flowers. That's right, Kuhn Flowers. For over 75 years, Kuhn Flowers gets it done right.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Best Bet Monday on The Frangie Show with fantastic locations in Jacksonville, Orange Park, and now in St. Augustine. It's Best Bet.
Here's what I'll tell you, Hays Carlyon, who hails from the Bowl School. I know these are preseason games. We'll talk about the team and whatnot in a minute. But I'm serious about this. I said this to you last week. Look, I should know better, or should have known better. He went to bowls. He's from here. Played at Alabama. Didn't he win a national? Did he win a title?
He did.
Won a title. Bama was third in the Heisman voting. I missed the memo on how freaking good Mac Jones is. What a good player. And he's a really good player. I mean, he's a good player. I am convinced he could be one of the starting quarterbacks in the NFL. I am totally convinced he could start. There's a lot of teams he could start for in the NFL. I really believe that.
I wouldn't go that far, but yeah, he's had a good camp, and he's a great, insurance policy for Trevor.
He's got a big arm. He's athletic enough. He knows how to play. I'll bet you. We'll see. Maybe I'm an idiot, but I'll bet you he's going to get another chance to play at some point. It'll be a good NFL quarterback. I'm not saying he's a top 10 guy, top 5 guy, but I missed the memo on that. I'm used to backup quarterbacks being, oh boy, you got to put your backup quarterback in. I'm used to that being the way it is at any level, by the way. Oh, boy. Now what? Now what do we do? And I was really, really impressed with him. The whole camp, every preseason game, the way he carried himself, the arm strength, which I didn't realize he had as much of it. So I've been very impressed with him. But that stood out for me. The strides that Parker Washington and Tank Bigsby have made, the strides they have made, the fact that this defense looks like it fits them. I'll say it again. It's the best roster they've gone into a season with in my 11 years of calling the game. Now, you still have to do it. And it's a brutally hard schedule to start. It really is. I mean, there's earlier in the year I said I'll take 2-2 out of the gate right now. I don't know if I feel that way still, but I
think you would feel good about 2-2.
You'd almost take 2-2 right out of the gate right now.
I think so, because the back half I think is again it always fools us.
Correct.
But it seems like as of now they could really make a big run in the second half. So if you can just sort of keep your head above water in the first half, then I think they'd be in good shape. So I mean, if 2-2 I would take right now.
It looks like,
because that would be one big road win. That would mean you're beating either the Dolphins in Miami, the Texans in Houston, or the Bills on Monday night in their house.
Yeah, well, that's right. And I love the camp. I love the camp, Hays. It's been a hard camp. It's been a tough camp. Trevor told a great story. He said some of the Bucs guys were telling him, man, after the two workouts here, oh, that was a hard workout. And Trevor said, that's been that way every day here.
They've had pretty much every practice has gone like 13, sometimes even 14 periods. He has worked them well.
Yes.
In training camp.
In today's football, I know the old school guys say it's not nearly what they went through, but compared to what people are going through today.
Correct. For a current NFL camp, I would say it was very difficult.
Yeah, it was a tough camp. You caught up with Trayvon. I've got big expectations for him. I think you do too.
I was glad to see. You're seeing more nuance to his game now, and that's incredibly exciting. And Doug Peterson talked about Trayvon before practice today, and it was the first time I've heard him describe Trayvon as a sponge. He loves football. What else can I learn? And that's so exciting because we know the athleticism is off the charts. It's why he was the number 1 pick in the draft, because the traits are so rare. But if he also has that love for the game and that yearning to be better, he is going to be phenomenal, and I think he's well on his way to that.
The former Georgia Bulldog and number 1 overall pick a few years back, Trayvon Walker, the subject of this Hays Carlyon one-on-one.
We're pleased to be joined with Jaguars defensive end Trayvon Walker here on 1010XL 92.5 FM. It's always great to talk to you. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm doing wonderful. Yeah, absolutely. Big night for you in Atlanta the other night. How did you feel like it went?
I feel like it went as it should have went. As far as going out there, just taking advantage of every opportunity that I'm given, regardless of who's in front of me. On my own, I'm competing against self, so it was another opportunity. So just take advantage of it.
Are you being more aware of getting your hands up? Is that an element of your game that you've improved upon?
I wouldn't just say getting my hands up, but I just say playing with more length, playing with my hands, and obviously I have long arms, so if I can't get to the quarterback for the sack, then obviously get my hands up to help the guys on the back end, just like they're helping me.
And in terms of your pass rush, Trayvon, it seems like you've made a lot of great strides. How do you feel like it's gone for you throughout this last month?
I feel like it's been pretty good, but it's always room for improvement. The best is yet to come. I still feel myself growing, and I still feel myself putting all the pieces together that I need to, and now it's just time for me to be consistent.
Are you more comfortable going inside? That inside move looks like it's really starting to take off for you. We're seeing a spin. Just talk about the development of your moves.
For me personally, it's just a fact of making myself comfortable being uncomfortable. Obviously, I'm not a big spin guy, but if it's something that's going to help me at the top of the rush of my pass rush game, then obviously I'm going to do whatever it takes for me to be able to obviously stay in the pass rush or stay live and be able to get to the quarterback.
Doug was asked about you earlier today and described you as a sponge. How much do you just love the game of football?
I love the game of football. Me personally, the reason that I play this game is just because I love the transition of the game, and I just love the game of football. Without the money, I'll play the game of football without the money. So, that goes to say that I just genuinely love the game.
How much do you enjoy breaking down film? Have you started looking at Miami yet? Do you wait on that? How does that process work for you?
I definitely peaked at Miami. But me personally, breaking down film, I have grown over the years, knowing what to look for within the film and not just looking at myself all the time, but obviously evaluating everything from an offensive standpoint and a defensive standpoint.
How's your body holding up? You now have a week where, it should be a little less intensity, obviously, as you guys get ready for the opener with camp behind you. But what do you kind of focus on this week from a recovery standpoint?
Me personally, I just say keep doing what I've been doing throughout the whole camp. Obviously, now we have a little more time on the back end, so I just got to take advantage of that time for my recovery and obviously get my mental right. That's where the film study and all that comes in as well.
In terms of looking at Miami, obviously, Tua, Tyreek, Waddle, a lot of speed. They do some good things on the ground. Conceptually, anything stand out to you as you look at Miami and the challenges they'll present?
Obviously, for us as a defense up front, it's always going to start with us stopping the run, and once we stop the run, that's when we can put that focus on those other guys, like those guys on the end. But first, in order for us to be able to to obviously rush the passer, we have to stop the run. And I feel like once we stop the run, that can help us open up a lot more things for us on defense.
How is Jarian and Ronald Darby, how are they holding up after that tough Florida State performance on Saturday? Did you guys watch that game at all?
Yeah, I caught a little bit of it, but as soon as we came in yesterday, they caught heat from it, obviously. But, yeah.
And how are the Dogs going to do this year? Give us a prediction on how Georgia will fare.
It's the Dogs. I like them for the national championship. I'll be a fool to say anything different.
Trayvon Walker, we always appreciate your time. Certainly best of luck to you.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I think you're starting to see, again, Trayvon being more cognizant as he approaches the quarterback of what's going on, getting the hands up if he's not going to get there. I think his inside rush is really starting to flourish just from a novice perspective, but just seeing him, it looks like more of a player that is starting to figure it out. Again, still an incredibly young man because he was only in college for, a few years before the Jaguars took him. So he's still just 23 years old and 10 sacks last year. If he stays healthy, he is going to be in the running for not only Pro Bowl honors, but I think Trayvon Walker could have an all-pro season. I think he could become, over the next 17 games, he could become the face of the Jaguars defense.
You were trying to get him to talk a little college ball, weren't you?
I was.
You tried to get him to talk a little trash.
Yeah,
He wasn't going there, was he?
Yeah, he kind of went there with his FSU guys.
Just a little.
But,
all right, we'll take a break.
Yeah.
Great interview. Thanks for doing that. When we come back, let's talk some Florida State football. By the way, headlines come up in the second hour of the program. Bucky Brooks at 5 o'clock. Headlines at about 5:20, so you'll still hear Hays headlines coming up in the program. But when we come back, let's talk some college football. Let's break down a little bit Florida State and Georgia Tech, what went wrong for the Noles, what went right for Tech, and a whole lot more. This is 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Here's Linda Beaver.
Hey, school's in session, and here's today's lesson. We have hundreds of certified vehicles to choose from, starting as low as $89.99. Plus, they come with a 7-year, 100,000-mile peace of mind warranty and free oil changes. That means you and your soon-to-be drivers will be protected. Plus, every purchase allows us to fund teachers' projects for the entire school year. Your next assignment, get to Beaver Toyota in St. Augustine or Beaver Chevrolet in Jacksonville. Deadline August 31st. We're here to wow you and our teachers.
If you're from the South, you know all about fried green tomatoes and BLTs. So put some South in your mouth and get to Bono's to try the fried green tomatoes appetizer served with Reggie Ranch and one-of-a-kind Bono's BLT with smoked brisket, lettuce, and fried green tomatoes served with one southern side. Frank Frangie here, and I'm telling you, I love fried green tomatoes, and this sandwich is out of sight. So head to your local Bono's today. The fried green tomatoes appetizer and BLT is a summer sensation. And remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
Hicken here for Bout 9 Associates, where you'll find Jacksonville's most esteemed eye doctors at each of their locations. After being selected for one of the most competitive ophthalmology fellowships in the world, Dr. Frank Bowden is frequently called upon for his expert opinion. He is currently one of the few cornea and external disease specialists in the area and the founder of Bout 9. Visit Bout 9 Associates today and experience the difference. Bout 9 Associates, keeping the First Coast focused.
Frank Frangie here. These days, it's hard to know which companies to trust. But when it comes to banking, I trust South State Bank. South State truly values its customers, and they work hard to create meaningful, lasting relationships. I love going into my local branch. I see the same smiling faces I've seen for years. South State is the largest bank headquartered in Florida, so they're able to offer all the banking services you need. You can trust South State Bank. Banking forward. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Jimerson Burr is a full-service, Florida-based commercial law firm that has experience and capabilities to handle any legal issue a business is confronted with. Learn more about what they can do for you at jimersonfirm.com.
Chelsea here with Renewal by Anderson. Summer's winding down, and so are our prices at Renewal by Anderson's end of summer window and door sale. Upgrade your home with custom Fibrex windows and doors. Whether you need custom, energy efficient, hurricane resistant windows or a stylish new patio door, we've got you covered. A better way to a better window. Visit us at bestwindowsflorida.com for details. Transform your home before fall with the end of summer sale. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. License number CGC 1527613.
Go inside your home team's locker room with Jags beat reporter Hays Carlyon.
Check out my blog at 1010XL.com
so you can catch all the news and nuggets you need to know.
My blog is brought to you by Roland Reese Plumbing,
where quality and experience count.
I'm Ben from Beard's Diamonds. My father and I buy our stones direct from the diamond cutters. No middleman, no big company overhead, no commission salespeople, and we pass the savings on to you. Before you buy anywhere else, remember, Beard's Diamonds will beat any competitor's price.
In the St. John's Town Center or at beardsdiamonds.com.
Yo, if you've been following me on my bookie, you will know that I'm hitting for straight cash, homie. It's your boy E.T. And are you ready for the ultimate college football season? Using my bookie's sportsbook and casino platform, you can bet on every game and win anytime, anywhere, straight from your mobile device. No app necessary. Just click on the link, sign up, and you're ready to rock. Did you know that the average college football game runs about 180 plays? Every catch, sack, and touchdown is another way to hit that straight cash, homie, using my bookie. And when you bet with my bookie, you're not just watching the games, you're investing in every moment of the action. And I'm speaking from experience. A few bucks on the line can turn any regular game into one of the most exciting games of the season. So make sure you head over to my bookie. And don't forget to use promo code 1010XL when signing up to claim that $1,000 bonus on the first deposit. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with my bookie. Come on, somebody.
Make the move to ABS, Advanced Business Solutions, and you won't hear your employees complain about the copier anymore. Instead, you'll hear this. Advanced Business Solutions, your local Xerox dealer.
With Labor Day savings at the Home Depot, you can upgrade your home with up to $1,500 off select appliances from top brands like Whirlpool. Enhance your kitchen with quality and convenience from Whirlpool, like the freestanding electric range with built-in air fryer and the tall tub dishwasher with third rack. All available at the Home Depot. Right now, shop Labor Day savings up to $1,500 off select appliances at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Pricing valid August 22nd through September 11th. U.S. only. See store online for details.
Does the building you go to work in every day need a little love and attention? Jason Parker here with Performance Painting. Great companies take great care of the buildings their staff and customers walk into every day. If the building you're in doesn't match the vision you have for your company, we can help. Go to performance-painting.com. Our highly trained team makes the difference. Quality coatings applied with pride.
Performance Painting.
This is Dr. Michael Iorio, internal medicine physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jaguars, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
With many questions up front for the Jaguars, as it has been the weakness of the team over the past few seasons, head coach Doug Peterson believes second-year right tackle Anton Harrison is the real deal and future mainstay of the team's offensive line.
He's playing really well. Actually had a really good camp. I think for me, it's what you see in him is the confidence now, having played a full season and really understanding, how to play that position, and continues to grow and been one of the bright spots of camp. And excited to watch him, get the season going.
Harrison has been very durable, starting all 17 games for the Jaguars last year. If he stays healthy his second year, jump will greatly benefit the Jaguars' protection. I'm Max Fink with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars update.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Doors, please. Time now for the Skylife Elite Take Flight Moment of the Week. Skylife Elite, North Florida's premier private air charter.
44 yards away to do it. He got it, and the Yellow Jackets did it. Upset in hand. They found themselves a pot of gold at the end of their Irish rainbow.
Oh, Joe Tessitore.
Joe Tess was locked in, wasn't he?
He was ready. He was ready. What a moment. Georgia Tech walks it off against Florida State for the season's first upset. And boy, we'll have a lot of questions about that. But what a moment for Georgia Tech and the Yellow Jackets. And that is the perfect take flight moment of the week. Again, Our friends at Sky Life Elite, if you're tired of canceled flights, unruly passengers, and layovers, give our friends a call at 490-9332 and learn more about Private Air Charter. They are the premier private air charter in the area. You can also find them on their website, flyskylife.com.
And now's the time of year.
Oh, yeah.
Get over to Sky Life Elite and fly to that LSU game or that Clemson game or that whatever game, that Georgia game you're going to go see, right?
That's right. You got Jags in Miami.
And all those Jags games. Jags in Miami. By now, their phones ought to be lighting up right now.
Absolutely.
Pop down.
Down and back. Park your car at Craig Airport and get right on the plane.
Fly down Saturday, 5:30, straight to South Beach.
Yep.
Fun time at South Beach. Go to the ball game. Fly back. Game ends at 4. You'll be back by about 5:30. Having dinner with the wife. How about that? Listen to me.
Yeah.
All I'm doing is I'm just making plans.
Yeah.
Okay, so
get like 6 of your buddies.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So you ought to do it. All right, Florida State, Georgia Tech. So Florida State loses the game. What do you do now? Again, they've got 3. They got Memphis. They got BC, Memphis, and Cal at home. They're going to win those games. So even BC, who has a running quarterback, and is probably the best of the 3 teams, I would imagine, you're going to win the 3. That's a Labor Day night game.
If they lose to BC, the season's over.
I agree. The season's over. But they're going to win their next 3 games.
Yeah, I would think.
So the good thing is, again, the schedule favors you, particularly in a moment like this. So you got to. So you're going to be okay. The schedule's going to favor you. But I wonder. And look, it's clear there's still there's athleticism out there. 2 questions. Number one, the point you made, and I agreed with, they got worked when Georgia Tech had the ball physically. Georgia Tech ran right at them. There were gaping holes. This defensive line that has got all the NFL guys, and they rotated in and out. So step 1, concern 1, I would think, is figuring that part out. I would think somehow – you got to figure out what you do, whether your gap fits weren't very good or whether you just weren't physical enough. You can't because now look, Georgia Tech led the ACC in rushing last year. That's what they do, and a very good running quarterback. Although BC's got a good running quarterback too, but Georgia Tech is going to run the ball. But now, at least for today, until FSU fixes it or changes the narrative, the blueprint is run right at them.
Without a doubt. And again, Florida State has a lot of things they're going to have to work through. The offensive line was poor. The receivers were a concern coming into the season, and I didn't see anything that alleviated that. The defensive line was just a complete embarrassment. And you've got a quarterback that you're hiding. Maybe they won't continue to hide him, but they hit him in this game. He did throw the 2 nice 4th down conversions, as you mentioned, later in the game, so maybe he'll earn some trust from those 2 conversions. But it's not just 1 or 2 things. I mean, they have massive things that have to be fixed. You know, another thing, too, is that I think makes this loss so debilitating. You were starting to kind of get that mystique back. You know, the Florida State mystique of, you know, we're going to have this opponent beat just as soon as we walk out on the field because we're Florida State and that team has to question whether they really can beat us. All that goes right out the window because Georgia Tech is not a school that they have a decent program, but you know no one is confusing them for a great one, and maybe they'll have a very fine season, But this is a team that I don't think they've won 9 games in a season in like 10 years. So they historically have not been very good over the last decade. Yeah. It's a new administration. We'll see. But that's the thing that would give me so much pause is it's not just 1 or 2 things. It's not, well, we got a couple bad calls. Well, it was wet, and so we had a couple of fumbles that, normally probably wouldn't have been. They played a very clean game. No turnovers, 1 penalty. You hit a 59-yard field goal. You hit a 52-yard field goal. You get a 2-point conversion off a brilliant fake field goal to start the game off with that now the whole, world is seeing. They did a lot of really good things operationally. But to get pushed around like they got pushed around, you're going to have games where you have 11 penalties. You're going to have games where you have 2 or 3 turnovers. You're going to have games where you don't hit both 52-plus yard field goals. As great as Fitzpatrick is it Fitzpatrick or Fitzgerald? They're big time kicker.
We'll call him Fitzy.
So yeah, and looking at it, that's the thing that would concern me is they did some good things in this, but they're things that you can't really count on. They're not going to be called for 12 penalties this season. Yeah, they're not going to make it through the season with no turnovers. And now you're in 17th place in your league. That's the other part about this. It wasn't like USC, LSU, where you lose a game, even like Florida, Miami. You lose a game, okay, but at least in terms of conference, it doesn't have any effect on you. You're now a game and a half back of Georgia Tech, who does not play Clemson. So to me, they've got a lot of problems, and I don't think all these problems are going to end up being fixable when they're playing the Clemsons, the Notre Dames, the Miamis, and perhaps even the Floridas on their schedule.
So 2 or 3 things in addition. You got to get better physically. I will say, and it's way too early to make a decision on this, but I will say this, Hays, make sure you have a plan if DJ's not the guy. Quarterback matters. Here's what you did learn from him. He can't run at all.
No. He's glacial.
Yeah, he's
when he decides.
Right,
compared to Jordan Travis.
Yeah. So you're not gonna. You know now what they've known all along that we're finding out, and we sort of known that they did know. You're not going to have that Jordan Travis magic. No telling how many games they won in the last 2 years because Jordan Travis did something magical when it wasn't there. So, but I mean, I do think. Listen, your options are slim because they're kids. Brock Glenn and Luke are young guys. I want to say his name. I want to make sure I say his name right. Kromenhoek. So Luke Kromenhoek and Brock Glenn are young guys, but have a plan. Again, it's way too early to pull the plug. You're committed to this kid. Don't get me wrong. You're committed to DJU as you should be. But have something ready because I don't know that he's going to be what – this isn't Oregon State, bro. He was not what Clemson needed. And Oregon State's different, but he left Oregon State. This is you got to have something ready. You have to have something ready. The other thing is you made the point, make sure you go to your stars. Lawrence Toafili had the great run for the touchdown, and we didn't see him hardly at all.
And the great catch. I mean,
right.
On third down,
on the ball behind him,
that is a catch that NFL general managers are going to be like, wow, look at what he was able to do in this game. How does he not – how many times – I don't have the box score in front of me, but – boy, it felt like he never got the ball again.
Yeah, and they love this young guy Cam Davis, but he didn't run it very much either. So what you have to do is get a feel for who your guys are and see that Florida State thing. It was an odd offseason. Think about this: if you're Florida State, Hays, you have this great season. You lose your quarterback, which is devastating. He was the heart and soul of your team. You get screwed out of a playoff spot. I don't know anybody that believes they shouldn't have been in. They should have been in. You can't go 13-0 and not. I don't care who's hurt, who's not hurt. You can't go 13-0 and not get in. You can't in a major conference. It was comical that they didn't get in. But that was a big storyline. Then nobody played in the bowl game and you got shellacked 63-3. No matter how many people want to say that game didn't count, they played it on national TV and lost 63-3. Then all the talk about leaving the ACC. Then it was a tough offseason for FSU. The last thing you needed was to go and lose. So that added to it. FSU fans are booing Kirk Herbstreit, booing Kirk Herbstreit, booing Kirk Herbstreit. I bet Kirk Herbstreit had a little chuckle at the end of that thing. And again, if you're going to boo him relentlessly, don't be mad at him for having a little grin when you lose. I mean, Kirk, to Herbstreit's credit, he didn't want this fight. His position's been, look, I didn't have anything to do with this. I just gave my opinion. Now all of a sudden, every FSU fan in the world hates me. Okay, that's your choice. But don't get mad at him then if he has a little grin when you get upset, even though he publicly won't ever show that. So but it's been a hard go for FSU. Again, the next 3 games they're going to win. They'll be more physical than they were. Again, it's not like I'm going to be fair to them. They didn't get blown out. They lost on a 40-yard field goal on the last play of the game. It's not like somebody ran them out of the gym. It's not like, oh, my God, they just lost 38-10. What do they do?
Right. So no one thinks Georgia Tech is. Maybe Georgia Tech will surprise us.
Yeah, that's right.
But no one thinks that they're a top 25 team.
That's right. But I wouldn't be surprised if they're better than people think. Maybe not a top 25.
See, they can't throw it either.
Yeah, well, that's right.
You also just lost to a team. They can't throw the ball.
Yeah, what happens when
Exactly. What's going to happen when you see a team that's got a competent quarterback in terms of actually throwing the ball downfield?
So, but the one thing I would keep an eye, and I like they don't know this. But the quarterback situation is a significant one. Because I will tell you this. Cade Klubnik's getting better. Notre Dame's got Riley Leonard. I think this guy, Cam Ward, might be really good. I mean, somebody already voted him preseason ACC Player of the Year.
Yeah, the media.
Yeah, he might be very good. And I think Graham Mertz is really good. So you're going to play 4 or 5, and those are the ones I know. I don't even know who SMU's quarterback is, who barely won the other day. But I know Cade Klubnik and Cam Ward.
Yeah,
and
what is
Riley
like
Leonard.
Maybe North Carolina has another surprise guy that we're not unaware of.
But there's 4 good quarterbacks. I mean, Riley Leonard, Cam Ward, Graham Mertz, Cade Klubnik. That's 4 good passing quarterbacks. Klubnik's not as good as the other. I mean, that's 4. They're going to throw the ball down the field.
Well, and Clemson will be physical,
and they will be. So you're going to have to keep up. So back to the quarterback play. What do you do if he's not the guy? And I the Luke Kromenhoek's supposed to be pretty good. I don't know that I wouldn't start getting him ready.
I would get him ready.
I mean, I would have him ready. I mean, again, not yet. And you're going to win the next 2 or 3 games. Yeah. You're not going to pull it after he wins. But I would have him ready. So, again, a different time for Florida State. The world's changing a little bit, obviously, for the Seminoles. And, again, nobody saw that coming. I'll say it one more time. I thought they would beat Georgia Tech. I thought that all summer long. But, Hays, I thought it would be a good game. I thought it would take, if not 60 minutes to win that game, 54, 50, didn't you?
Yeah, and the way it started, I thought Florida State was going to win the game 45-10.
After the first drive, it looked
they went right down the field, no resistance at all. And it was like, wow, this is really impressive. And this is going to be the Florida State revenge tour. Then they get the 2-point conversion, which was brilliant. And maybe that's going to be a thing. Maybe the swinging gate or that lineup was something that a coach did a keynote speech at a convention this offseason, because I then saw it. Someone else in college football did that, and it worked. They did it off a throw into the end zone. But so maybe that's something that we'll see a lot of teams doing now to try and take advantage of that lineup. But to Mike Norvell's credit, it worked great. I mean, it was a walk-in. So now you're up 8-0, and it just disintegrated. I mean, from that point on, you get outscored, what 24-13 the rest of the way by a team that, is decent, but isn't expected to be phenomenal.
And 2 of those scores were on 50-plus yard field goals. So it's not like they were in the red zone, like about to get in and had to settle for field goals.
Yeah, that's right. And so anyway, Florida State loses. They'll pick up the pieces. They play on Monday night against Boston College, and now what is a gigantic must-win.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and again, Boston College will be well coached. I mean, they probably don't have much talent at all. And they're a 17-point dog. And it's their first game. It'll help Florida State that they've got a game under their belts, even a game that they didn't play well in. But, I mean, isn't Boston College, isn't that Bill O'Brien? And, I mean,
that's right.
That will be a well-coached college football team. Again, Florida State, I'm sure, will have a massive speed advantage, and it's in their house. But that needs to be a comfortable win, I think, for people to start feeling good about Florida State. Even if they were to beat Boston College, 20-14, I think people would be like, oh, my gosh, what is in store for this team? So we'll see. They have a week, and I think they're on their way back now from Ireland. They stayed over Sunday to sightsee. I'm sure that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And so, we'll see how they perform against Boston College. But, man, they've got way more problems than I thought they might have. I was really, really surprised and underwhelmed by Florida State's performance.
We'll take a break. Let's get it back to Jaguar football. Bucky Brooks joins us every single Monday to talk Jags. He's a sideline reporter for the Jags, and he's on NFL Network. He joins us after this to talk Jaguars football. Stay with us.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
College football is coming. Celebrating another season of college football.
This should be fun to watch.
1010XL's college kickoff coverage is brought to you by Jenkins Genesis of Northeast Florida and Island Oaks RV Park.
Let's do it on 1010XL. Come on. Now you can watch 1010XL shows all day on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Brought to you by MyBookie. Experience Vegas from the comfort of your phone anytime, anywhere. Sign up today. Use promo code 1010XL.
Jennifer, Luxury has a new address in Jacksonville.
Oh, do tell, John.
Randy Marion Cadillac on Southside Boulevard. We've got over 40 Cadillac Lyrics in stock.
40? That's incredible. Any color you want?
You bet. Pick your color and drive away today. Plus, we're giving away a free home charger with every Lyric.
Fantastic. Anything else?
How about a car you'll never have to change the oil on?
No oil changes ever? Now that's luxury.
Randy Marion Cadillac, where Jacksonville meets luxury.
Visit us today on Southside Boulevard and tell them Jennifer sent ya.
Are
you thinking about upgrading your outdoor space with artificial turf? Well, you're going to love working with Caleb at Sunshine Turf. He's genuine, always on time, and really trustworthy. Frank Frangie here. We had Sunshine Turf design and install turf at the Bragan Baseball Complex, and it's gorgeous and maintenance-free. From putting greens to pet runs around pools and more, Sunshine Turf can do it all. Visit sunshineturf.info to get a free quote today from Sunshine Turf. That's sunshineturf.info.
This is Hays Carlyon from my friend Holt at Harrell & Harrell. There doesn't seem to be enough time in the day to get everything done. Then you get injured in an accident and you don't know what you're going to do. Let Harrell & Harrell make it easy for you. Easy on becoming a client. You can just text or email if you want. Easy on finding a doctor and getting through the process. Hopefully you won't need them, but if you're ever injured, call Harrell & Harrell and make it easy on yourself. Call them at 904-251-1111. That's 251-1111.
Wake up and smell the golf balls.
Brunch with the Tour.
Tour news, tips, and inside info.
Uphill putt for birdie. Brought to you by
Clearwater Irrigation. Brunch provided by Chick-fil-A. Tuesday morning at 8:30 on 1010XL.
When you're shopping for insurance, you might say, "What?
Huh? I'm so over this."
But what you really need to say is something that could actually help.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
When you get a local State Farm agent, they can help make it easy and help you choose the coverage you need. Plus, they're available online, over the phone, or even in person.
I'm so into this.
Call State Farm agent Ron McCann in Orange Park at 269-1313.
Frank Frangie here to congratulate my friends at Big Chief Tire. For the 5th year in a row, Big Chief Tire was named the best tire center in Jacksonville for excellence in tire services. Big Chief Tire has served the Jacksonville community for over 60 years with quality tires, brakes, repairs, alignments, and more. Big Chief is known for fair prices and honest service, and they've built a reputation for treating customers like family. Big Chief offers reliable solutions to keep vehicles safe and running smoothly. Visit BigChiefService.com.
Hey guys, this is David Garrard, and I want to tell you about Clearwater Irrigation. They put my new sprinkler system in at my new home at Jack's Beach, and I couldn't be happier. Oh, hey John.
What's up, Dave? You know what this means. You're going to have to sing.
Man, I can't sing.
Then you'll fit right in, buddy. Clearwater Irrigation. We can't sing a lick, but we sure are good at sprinklers. Hit it, Dave.
And drainage too.
ClearwaterJacks.com. Home of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
I'm Clayton Bromberg, the president of Underwoods. One of the biggest changes we've seen in fine jewelry over the last 25 years has been the growth of jewelry designers. At Underwoods, we're the leader, bringing to North Florida the best names in designer jewelry. In fact, we carry designer lines in a similar way to how clothing stores carry designer labels. The difference is that jewelry designers have to be a little more timeless in their presentations because nobody wants to buy a fine piece of jewelry only to find out the next year it's gone out of style. That's why you'll find at Underwoods the best of the jewelry designer names, those that are tried and true and popular. Names like David Yerman, Roberto Coin, John Hardy, Marco Bichigo, Jude Francis, Lagos, Hippolyta, and a lot more are all available right now at Underwoods. So if you want the best looks in designer jewelry, stop by Underwoods, San Marco, Avondale, or the shops of Ponte Vedra.
Guys, feeling deflated in the bedroom? ED, low T, no energy? If your stuff is broken, call 904-STROKEN or 904stroken.com. No shots in the first treatment, now free. Fix your ED at 904stroken.com.
David Ammon here with Zero Res. So Ammon, your mom mentioned it's been a year since we did a complete house cleaning. The kitchen tile and living room floors are looking pretty dingy. It's time to call Zero Res.
That's right. Most folks know that Zero Res does an amazing job at cleaning their carpets and rugs, but they don't know that Zero Res can clean their tile and grout, LVP, and wood floors.
And right now, Zero Res is offering 25% off all hard floor cleaning. Zero Res,
spelled forward or backwards, it's the right way to clean.
CERO, Zero Res.
Of
course, Roland Reach Plumbing has awards from Folio Weekly and the Bold City's Best. Now, Roland Reach is also confirmed as the Google Guaranteed Plumbing Service. Because when you do plumbing right, the word gets around. That's Roland Reach Plumbing.
PRP treatment is kind of the thing these days, and in many cases, it eliminates the need for surgery. This is Sheridan Tootin, and my experience with PRP from Southeast Orthopedic Specialist has been nothing short of great. I'm really feeling much better now. Ask your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist doctor about PRP treatment.
This is Dr. Kevin Murphy with Southeast Orthopedic Specialist, where athletes are treated like pros.
Relieve pain and get back to life. SOS. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
I'm Max Fink here with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. Some exciting news out of Williamsport, Pennsylvania over the weekend as Team Florida defeated Chinese Taipei in the Little League World Series on Sunday. Team Florida, who never led during Sunday's championship, won 2-1 thanks to a game-winning bunt by Hunter Alexander in the 8th inning, allowing their runner on second to make it home and score after the miscommunication at first base for Chinese Taipei. Lake Mary Little League, who was represented as Team Florida, helped the state claim their first Little League World Series title ever. Congratulations, boys. The Florida Gators landed another big-time recruit over the weekend as 4-star wide receiver Nashawn Montgomery made his commitment to Coach Napier and the Gators. The 6'1" Miami Central standout, who was the number 37 ranked player in Florida, and now adds even more talent in the 2025 Gators recruiting class, being the third 4-star wide receiver to come to the Swamp. It's 88 degrees at 5:02. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line.
Hello.
We can wiggle it.
All right, let's talk a little Jaguar football. Bucky Brooks joins us from our sideline. He's our sideline reporter, works for NFL Network. Let's get right to it. Frank Frangie, Hays Carlyon with you. Granada Hills 22, Hays. Franklin 7.
Here we go.
1-0 is what I'm talking about.
Congratulations.
So the word on the street is we ran the ball, Bucky. Did we run the ball? Is that what happened?
Yeah, like, Frank, if you can close your eyes and envision Army West Point football, that's what we're about. We're about running the football. We're about controlling the clock, playing good defense, and having a lot of fun. So the guys did a great job.
Well, 1-0. We're going to track it every week. All I know is we're 1-0, and that's kind of our show's team now, so we're 1-0. Hey, Bucky, the Hays in the barn now. The Jags, listen, they were preseason games, and the Falcons didn't play anybody. I know that. But I got to tell you, this is a good roster. It's the best roster in my 11 years of calling it. I can't find a whole lot I don't like yet. I worry about the interior of the offensive line, I suppose. From 10,000 feet, as you watch this team, am I too giddy here? But it looks like a pretty good team, man.
Yeah, Frank, I think we talked about it consistently every week. I think we'll look back in a few years and say the best thing that ever happened was the collapse at the end of 2023. I think it allowed the franchise to do a complete reset in terms of who they are and what they want to be going forward. I think for Doug Peterson, it was a humbling experience to have a team sitting at 8-3, and as a Super Bowl winning coach, you couldn't finish it. I think he's been very determined to right those wrongs. I think he has, like you've seen, he has a feistiness, an ornery demeanor about him in terms of getting that right. And I think he's been very, very clear to the team about what the expectations are. And I think that also coincides with the franchise having a clear view of what they want in a player on and off the field. And so when you think about the guys that got paid, Trevor Lawrence, Tyson Campbell, Josh Hines-Allen, they all kind of fit a certain type. When you think about the way the team is constructed and built, to me is one that I won't say devoid of stars, but I think the pieces are complementary, that it's not just a one-man show. And when you look at it and you think about how they play, how hard they play, and what it looks like in the preseason, yeah, this looks like a team that is ready to rock this season.
Bucky, the Jags traded Trevis Gibson earlier today. How do you kind of see their edge depth coming along, and who's kind of caught your eye?
I would say the edge depth is coming along really well because, one, the top two guys are elite. Trayvon Walker and Josh Hines-Allen collectively, and I would say individually, are elite. They combined for 27.5 sacks last year, and they're playing in a defense that is more built for their skills. And so I would expect them to dominate off the edges. But then it's also some of the young guys that are coming, right? You see Abdullah has shown flashes and kind of made some plays over the course of the preseason. You have the flexibility of knowing that Eric Armstead is going to join the team and be a factor inside or outside. I just think this is a team that feels good about where they are. They feel good about how the players match the vision that the coaches have put out in terms of style of play. I think we've seen it, and I think we more so felt it in the way that they've dominated each of these three preseason games.
Bucky, he grinded them in this camp now. And I know Trevor talked about that, said, listen, the Buccaneers players were talking about how hard the joint practice was, and Trevor kind of said, we've been doing that every year. Do you sense that Doug said, okay, this is going to be the hardest camp these guys have gone through? I may be embellishing it a bit, but you know the point. That he got after him now. Did you notice that as much, and do you notice an effect from that?
I did, because I talked to Doug and I asked him, hey, man, everyone's complaining about camp and how hard it is. He gave me this exasperated, it's football, but it's old school. Like, it's the new version. And so I asked him exactly, like, what was so tough about the camp? He was like, long hours. They maximize the rule. I think you can only have the guys in the building maybe 11 or 12 hours. He had them in there every hour that he possibly could have. They were there. He also used full advantage of the padded practices. And so there would be times where, guys may have a joint practice, and the next day you normally would have, like, hey, let's put shorts on. Nope, right back to the pads. I think, if I'm not mistaken, the first practice this week would be a padded practice coming off the heels of the Atlanta game. So I would say this, great coaches, their actions match their words. And he has said we need to be a more physical team. We need to be a team that finishes, where his actions, demanding more padded practices, demanding a physical presence every time they're on the field, matches what he's saying he wants his team to be at the end of the year.
Bucky, who are some of the young players that you feel like have had really good last month?
It's funny, right? So when you talk to Doug, and we talked to him about, like, hey, what is it about this year? What are you looking for? And he always cited two words: change and development. Change the way that we do business. Change the way that the Jaguars have done business for the last decade or so. Consistent winning, doing it in a fashion that puts you in a conversation of being a title contender, and then develop the players. And when he talks about developing the young players, I think what's interesting is, like, some of the young players last year that we thought would play a lot, play significant roles, never got an opportunity to, right? So Tank Bigsby, Parker Washington, Brenton Strange, they never got a chance to really show what they could do. This year, they've been more intentional about getting those guys the reps in practice and in games so they could show what they could do. So those three guys, I would say, have been terrific. Like, Bigsby looks like he is the perfect complement to Travis Etienne. Parker Washington has carved out a role some way as a player, as a returner, as a gadget guy, as a fourth or fifth wide receiver. He's in the mix. And so, like, you have some of those guys, Christian Braswell and Yasir Abdullah, and some of those other young guys really coming, Ventrell Miller. So those guys have been good. And then, I got to say that Mac Jones, to me, has been a pleasant surprise. When you hear all the conversation about what took place in New England and how he fell out of favor and, can he play or he can't play anymore, the player that has shown up in Jacksonville has not really been the one that they talked about in New England. He can play, he can spin, he has terrific arm talent, and he can be a starter in this league. And so to have him potentially as your number 2 quarterback gives you a chance to overcome maybe anything that could possibly happen on the field.
See, I said the same. One of the biggest surprise, the guys you named, you're dead on, Parker Washington and Tank Bigsby. Bucky, I said the same thing. I didn't realize Mac Jones was that good. I should have known it because he's from here. But I think one of the biggest surprises to me, how strong his arm is. Look, he's a first-round draft pick. He ought to have a strong arm, but seeing it up close, how strong his arm is, the decisions he makes, how accurate he is. I agree with you. I told Hays this earlier. I think he could start in the NFL. I'm not saying he's ever going to be an elite NFL quarterback, but they've really found a good backup quarterback in this guy, Mac Jones.
Absolutely, man. He's so good. And I think the thing that stands out to me is how competitive he is as a player who's had success in the league. When you've been named a Pro Bowler, and people can talk about whether it's watered down or not, that recognizes you as being one of the elite players in the league. The enthusiasm that he's shown while taking a demotion, because remember, he went from being a starting quarterback to now he's a backup quarterback in Jacksonville without an opportunity to become the starter. So to take a demotion, but to still bring the energy, the enthusiasm, and then I would say the effort and execution that he has displayed as a backup quarterback, to me, this speaks volumes about not only his professionalism, but his competitiveness, and it really bodes well for the team if he has to play this dude is going to be ready to play, and he's going to be ready to really show the world that he can play.
Give us an early thought about the Dolphins opener. What storyline is the juiciest in your opinion?
Look, I think the game hinges on our ability to cover the wideouts on the outside. It has been great to watch the guys go bump and run and play coverage against all these teams in the preseason, but now you're dealing with a different animal when you go to Miami. Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, OBJ will be the third wide receiver. I mean, a lot of speed on the perimeter. And so Tyson Campbell, Ron Darby, that young secondary will be tested. The other thing that I kind of want to see is how do they affect the quarterback up front? You know, if you're not blitzing, if you're just relying on the four-man rush, can Trayvon Walker and Josh Hines Allen and maybe Eric Armstead, can they win their one-on-one? Because if you only sit and bring four and play man-to-man behind it, someone has to win up front. They got to be able to win their one-on-one. To me, this game hinges on the Jaguars' defense versus the Dolphins' offense, and can they hold up over the course of 60 minutes?
Bucky Brooks with us talking Jaguars football. Bucky, the other question about the team has been guard, center, guard. Obviously, Ezra Cleveland's back as the left guard. Brandon Sheriff's back as the right guard. The change is Mitch Morse at center. Have you seen enough? And I know the starters didn't play very much, so I know you were here for a week during practice and you talked to Doug a lot. Can you tell much about the interior of the line, if it's going to be more physical, better than it has been? Too early to tell?
Look, I think it'd be better just because they'll play together. I think it'd be better because the center's better than the previous player. Like Mitch Morse is an upgrade over Luke Fortner. That'll give them a chance. But, you know, Brandon Sheriff has been injured. He's on the downside of his career. Mitch Morse is a really good player, but he's not, I would say, the most physical player at the point of attack. And so then you have Ezra Cleveland. How those guys play together really will determine if this offense can do what they expect to do on the ground and through the air. They don't have to be kind of the bullies at the point of attack, but they do need to be what I say good neighbors, meaning they understand how to cover for one another when they're having those 3-on-2 games at the point of attack. If their communication and chemistry is right, this offensive line will be right because the guys on the outside are really good. Like Anton Harrison is really good, and Cam Robinson has an opportunity to be like regarded as like that borderline elite player on the edge.
How do you see the rest of the division?
I'll say this division is a tough one, right? It's a tough one because when I look at the Houston Texans, they've upgraded their roster. But the thing that they will find out is it's a lot easier to be the hunter than the hunted. They won't sneak up and surprise anybody. C.J. Stroud will have to carry the pressure of having to duplicate what he did a season ago. How did he do that with Stephon Diggs and Joe Mixon, new guys in the mix with new guys that expect to get the ball? How does he handle all of those things? They have guys on defense, and Neil Hunter and those guys they brought over. So how do they handle the weight of expectations? The Indianapolis Colts are interesting because they have one of the more dynamic rosters in football in terms of their athlete height, weight, and speed. Right? It's a scouting dream in terms of what they went after. They went after prototypes. But the quarterback is an unknown. And I know some people have penciled him in to be a Pro Bowler, but I've never seen him finish the season. I've never seen him play to the potential that everyone has talked about. So I'm a little cautious on Anthony Richardson being the next coming when they talk about him. And then in Tennessee, they have good veteran players. Had a chance to watch them play preseason yesterday. Calvin Ridley's going to give them something. DeAndre Hopkins is in and out of the lineup and hurt, but they have veteran receivers. I don't know how good the quarterback is. They're going to have some toughness because Bill Callahan, the out-line coach, is good. They're going to play good defense because Bernard Wilson is going to bring a very aggressive style. I don't know how good the quarterback is, and ultimately the division is decided by the play of the quarterback. To me, it comes down to Trevor Lawrence versus C.J. Stroud. Which quarterback plays better? That's going to be the team that wins the division.
Bucky Brooks talking Jaguar football. Final thing, Buck. What is this 16 days like for these guys? Obviously, they played. Camp broke. Now there's no games. There's 16 days without a game. Yeah, you kind of answered it before. Do you pad them up a little bit? What are these? I mean, you don't game plan until next week, I imagine. So what happens in these 16 days?
You know, it's funny because we talked to Trevor about that, and Trevor talked about it's a bye week, and it's weird because you've had 90 guys in camp, and all of a sudden when you come back, the first couple of days you're going to be 53 guys.
Yeah.
So a lot of bodies are gone,
right?
And so it's going to be different for the guys to adjust. The other thing, those extra days, how would they utilize those extra days? Will they continue to be like Jaguars days, not working on the game plan, but just working on their own fundamentals, and then they put in the game plan the following week. A lot of it is still like, hey, let's do our own thing. Let's worry about us before we start worrying about them next week. I think they'll kind of clean up some of the things that may have popped up over the course of the preseason and then start on Monday or Tuesday attacking the Miami Dolphins. But, look, if Doug Peterson has learned anything from Andy Reid, it's how to prepare a team off a bye week.
Yeah.
Andy Reid, his mentor, is great at it. I think Doug may have some things up his sleeve to kind of help his team get ready to play that open.
All right, next week we have you on. We'll certainly preview the Dolphins game. We'll kind of break that one down as much as we can. Meanwhile, Hayes, we're on the road at Banning this week. Did you know that?
Banning's got a problem.
Banning's got a problem.
Yeah, I mean, they're good, man. If anyone knows, like the old Vince Ferragamo, his uncle and dad, they all are legendary coaches there. They have like 13 city titles, which is a big deal. We got to go down to a hornet's nest now. But you know us, I got some spur in me. We ain't scared.
They're not afraid. That's exactly right. Bucky Brooks checking in. Bucky, good luck this week, man. We'll talk to you next week. Appreciate it, buddy.
Okay, man. Thanks, guys.
All right. Bucky Brooks checking in. And the on the road is Granada Hills Charter. But he makes some interesting points about the Jaguars. We'll preview the game next week. But he hit it. Can you cover Tyreek and Waddle? That's really and can you affect Tua? That's the whole game. I mean, there's all kind of stories inside the story, but when everybody plays the Dolphins, not just the Jags, that's going to be the story.
It is going to be the story, and that's why it is so imperative for Josh Hines-Allen and Trayvon Walker to really get after Tua. And I think it is a massive advantage for the Jaguars' defensive front going up against that Miami offensive line. But if Tua can find the time, then the advantage completely shifts to the Dolphins, because I like Tyson Campbell a lot as a player, but if Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, if Tua has time, they are going to put up big numbers on the Jaguars.
If we're being, we have 2 weeks to talk about this, but if we're contending that Tyson Campbell, Ronald Darby, and Darnell Savage are better players than Tyreek Hill and Waddle, you're fooling yourself. Every team, every game everybody plays, you have matchups where the other guys have the better players, and that's no disrespect to our guys. I think Ronald Darby's had a terrific camp. I think Tyson Campbell's going to be a really good player in this league. But that's one of the best combinations. That might be the best speed combination in the league,
without a doubt.
As far as speed goes, it's
in terms of home run threat,
it's the best in the league.
The Dolphins are the best in the league.
So you have to get to the court. We'll talk more about that when we come up. Hayes has headlines on the other side. This is 1010XL on 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Connect with 1010XL.
On the line, online, with your friends. Now everyone's exchanging ideas.
Find 1010XL on your social channels.
Mia here. Get it all when you shop Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned. Just listen to this. Over 275 SUVs, over 200 cars, over 100 pickups, over 50 luxury vehicles. That's over 600 vehicles, and they're all in one location. Arlington Pre-Owned even has 125 vehicles under $18,000. Plus, you get Arlington's 60-day exchange program and financing help from their Credit for Everyone program. Shop online anytime at arlingtontoyota.com.
Hi, folks. I'm Frank Frangie for Ricketts Electric. Now, any good lineup needs power. When I needed a power connection for our new Walk-Off Charities baseball park, I found the perfect partner in Ricketts Electric. You're going to love these guys, I'm telling you. The Ricketts family has been providing commercial and residential electric service for years. So call my buddy Zach Ricketts today at 904-320-5960, and you can find them on Facebook as well. You will trust them. That's Ricketts Electric, the city's best power connection. Call them today at 320-5960.
This is Tony Baselli, Pro Football Hall of Famer. I was known for protecting our quarterback. These days, I'm extending that protection to a different arena, your home. I have partnered with Heritage Roofing of North Florida, your premier local roofers with over 25 years of experience. Heritage is your go-to roofer for hurricane preparation with same-day inspections and estimates. They also work with all insurance companies. Let Heritage Roofing of North Florida safeguard your home and family. Visit heritagenfl.com for your free estimate today.
State license CCC 1335410.
Have you or someone you care about been arrested or had their driver's license taken away? I'm Susan Cohen, and I work with David Robbins at the law firm of Epstein & Robbins. We are experienced fighters for those charged with DUI and all criminal offenses. I've been named the best DUI attorney in the state, and David has been named the best criminal defense lawyer in Jacksonville. In your battle with the justice system, there is only one thing you need to know. Dial David 24/7 at Epstein & Robbins, 354-5645.
You don't have to be a football star to get a signing bonus. The team at Republic Services needs your skills, and they're paying up to $5,000 for you to join the roster. You'll be joining a winner. As an essential business, the Republic Services trucks have not stopped rolling with hourly and weekly pay and better benefits and vacation packages than the rest of the league. Driver trainees, $1,000 sign-on bonus. CDL drivers, $3,000. Diesel mechanics, $5,000 bonus. Join the winning team at Republic Services today. Visit republicservices.com.
Equal opportunity employer.
Give us your hot take.
Pop quiz, hot shot.
On the 1010XL text line, designed by Lifetime Enclosures.
You know what I'm saying? Well, I'm awake and I speak English, so yeah, I do know what you're saying.
Be part of the conversation. 641-1010.
Satisfied that all is well with your business operations? If your IT security and print management is working, you must have hired ABS, Advanced Business Solutions, your local Xerox copier dealer. ABS, Advanced Business Solutions.
Staying active no matter what your age is key to living life at its fullest. And Rebound Rehabilitation wants you to know they can get you back up to speed and back in the game pain-free. Rebound Rehabilitation with 8 locations across the First Coast, top-of-the-line therapists ready to assist you. From neck and back pain, knee or foot pain, they can help. Excellent patient care combined with the highest quality in rehabilitation services. Look for a Rebound Rehab location near you and get back in the game. Log on, reboundrehab.com.
Are you a meat lover searching for quality cuts? Southern Steer Butcher uses a vacuum tumbler to marinate and tenderize our chicken and world-famous steak tips.
Now open in Ortega. For tasty tips and juicy breasts, choose Southern Steer Butcher.
Get Gators play-by-play on 1010XL. Brought to you by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. And Renewal by Anderson, custom windows and doors. Proud partner of the Florida Gators.
Duval. Jaguars football is officially back. Be there for the Jaguars 2024 home opener when they go head-to-head with the Cleveland Browns. Join us as we celebrate Hispanic heritage and take the field at Everbank Stadium for the first time during our 30th season. Lock in your seats now for the 1 p.m. kick by going to jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000. We can't wait to see you back at the bank.
The latest in innovative imaging technology is at Ackerman Cancer Center. With total body MRI, PET, and CT scans, plus 3D mammography, offers unparalleled precision in cancer detection. Schedule your screening now at AckermanCancerCenter.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Gather round.
It's Hays' Headlines, presented by Harrell & Harrell. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Hear all about it. Here's Hays Carlyon.
Welcome back to the Frangie Show. We've got Frank Frangie. We've got JJ LaSelva. I'm Hays Carlyon. Thank you to our friends at Harrell & Harrell. Hopefully you won't need them. But if you're ever injured or a loved one, give them a call, 251-1111. Frank, Jaguars back on the practice field today with the opener now 13 days away. Good to see Christian Kirk back out there.
Yeah, I think Christian could have played if that would have been a game. I think Christian would have played in the game. I think they're being very precautionary with that calf injury, but I think he would have played in the game. So I think, he's ready to go. Look, barring something new, other than Dewey, and I hate them being without Dewey because he's a good player. Most of the players of significance are out there. They've been healthy. That's why I asked Bucky, what do you do in these 16 days? Do you hit? Do you not hit? Because you want to go to Miami healthy, but it's great to see Christian Kirk out there. I'm telling you, I feel awfully good about their preseason, about their camp. Again, you got to go do it, and it's a tough start to the schedule, but I like where their football team is.
The Jaguars made a trade this morning, trading defensive end Trevis Gibson to Seattle for a 6th-round pick in 2025. You can't use the term fleecing when it's a 6th-round pick, but to pick up a selection like that for a guy that you were going to cut, great move, I think, by the Jaguars, and you now are armed with 10 picks in the upcoming draft.
Yeah, and I don't think he had a great camp. I'm not going to say he wasn't what they hoped he was, but he certainly wasn't what I thought he would be. Listen, Hays, there's a reason the Titans and the Bears moved on. And when two teams move on from a guy, maybe there's a sign there. They took a flyer on the guy, didn't pan out, but Miles Cole was pretty good. I think the one surprise has been Miles Cole, who started out slow in camp. The late-round draft pick out of Texas Tech might be a pretty good player. Might fit this defense awfully well. I think Miles Cole, good play, affected whether or not you keep Travis Gibson around.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Let's get it to around the NFL. The Cowboys give receiver CeeDee Lamb a 4-year, $136 million deal, the second highest contract among non-quarterbacks in the NFL.
You know what's funny, Hayes? In the late 80s, early 90s, receivers were a dime a dozen. They said, it doesn't matter who your receiver is. Everyone's got receivers. You got to have running backs and quarterbacks. Boy, has that changed. Quarterbacks hasn't changed, but the running back thing, people don't care who your running back is nearly as much anymore. They care, but not as much. And boy, those receivers are getting paid, aren't they? I mean, those receivers are really getting paid, and it's hard to argue it. I mean, it's a trend, and it's a copycat league, but it's hard to argue against the fact that they've got real value in today's NFL.
And you still have Jamar Chase. That deal has to get done, and whatever happens with Brandon Ayuk. So it could be two more, maybe not to this level. Jamar Chase will get this deal. I don't know about Ayuk, but yeah, two more lucrative deals that probably will be coming sooner rather than later. Let's get to around the NFL. We're certainly keeping our eye on the Miami Dolphins with Week 1 approaching. Dolphins coach Mike McDaniel says star pass rusher Bradley Chubb will start the season on PUP, so he will not play in the opener against the Jaguars.
Yeah, you hate it for Chubb and the Dolphins. It's a great break for the Jags. I mean, obviously he's a really good player. And so, yeah, we're getting closer, aren't we? We're getting closer to all that. Who's playing, who's not, matchup. Again, this week we'll talk a lot about college football as it starts in earnest. But we're not far away from matching up the Jags and the Dolphins.
No doubt about it. Let's get it to college football. Florida State loses its opener against Georgia Tech. So, Frank, what now in terms of expectations for the Noles?
Well, again, the good thing is for Florida State is they are still in the ACC. They haven't been able to get to the Big Ten or the SEC. And this year it's a good thing because the team we saw on Saturday would have a tough time running through one of those two leagues, in my opinion. But it's only one game. Listen, you can, and in fairness to them, they lost on a 44-yard field goal at the end of the game. It's not like somebody rolled them. I think Georgia Tech has a good team. It was a good game. They lost on a field goal at the end of the game. So, but you got to get it corrected. The good thing is Boston College, Memphis, and Cal are not going to beat them. They've all got to come to Tallahassee, and FSU is going to win all three of those games. Now you're 3-1, and then it gets a little more interesting. You go to SMU, who's okay. You play Clemson. You're going to have to go to Miami. You're going to have to go to I keep forgetting. Yeah, you go to Miami, and you go to Notre Dame. So the second half of the schedule's tough. You better find yourselves. It's only one game. Again, people talk about the physicality, how Georgia Tech ran it right at them. I think the quarterback's a concern. I think, yeah, I mean, he made some good plays and some really good plays on that last drive, the 2 4th-down conversion. But, boy, did he miss high on some throws, man. I mean, he missed – I don't know if he's throwing those balls away, but he threw some balls 10 yards over a guy's head. Too many.
No doubt about it. Do you get a sense Georgia Tech might be the surprise team in the nation this year, or just good but
I
not?
think Georgia Tech's good. I don't think Georgia Tech – you made the point earlier, you got to be able to throw it some, and they don't throw the ball very well. And so I think Georgia Tech's good, not great. I think, you know what? I think they're an 8 or 9 win team. I think they're in a bowl. I think they'll compete. They'll compete to be one of the 2 teams in the ACC that gets to the championship game. But I'm not ready to decide they're great. But look, they were well coached. They were tough. They found a way to win. They're going to win some games. There's no question.
Let's get it to the Gators. Billy Napier had his weekly press conference earlier today. He talked about working with Miami coach Mario Cristobal for 4 years. Another storyline to a game that's got almost an endless amount of them.
Yeah, we forgot about that. They were on that Alabama staff together for a long time. They're very similar. They coach the same way. They recruit the same way. What an intriguing game. Losers on the hot. It's not a loser leave town match, but it's a loser get to the hot seat match. And it's so many storylines for Florida. So many storylines for Florida and Miami. And the big one is the pressure on both of these coaches, and the understanding that one of those coaches at 8 o'clock is going to be 0-1. and that's trouble for whoever it is.
No doubt about it. Gators quarterback Graham Mertz also met with reporters and talked about understanding the why in terms of breaking down Miami's defense and defenses in general. It was really interesting, and again, it just speaks to a guy that's a super senior that's been doing this for a really long time, but it was the kind of answer in terms of him talking about concepts and why is the defense doing this? What does that tell me? Really good stuff from Graham Mertz, and again, shows off at least his maturity in terms of how he approaches an opponent. We'll see how he performs, but interesting stuff from the Gator senior quarterback.
He's a really smart dude. He really, and I said this before, I'll stand by it. If he starts and finishes 12 games, they're going to win 8 games. I think he's that good. My biggest concern for Florida is he's not a big guy. He hangs in there and holds the ball. I'm not sold on the offensive line yet, and is he going to get hurt? I've said that from day one. Can they keep Graham Mertz healthy? That to me, Hayes, is the story of the season for the Florida Gators.
A couple of players that were singled out either by Napier or Mertz or both. Jason Marshall, the corner, and Aiden Mizell, the young receiver. What are your expectations for those two players?
I think Jason Marshall's going to have a bounce-back year. I think he's a pretty good player. I think he's an NFL quarterback. I don't think he'd be a great NFL quarterback, but he's everything Kyer Elam was. He's a physical cornerback that's going to be a good player this year. I don't know what to think of Mizell. He's super fast, but it took him a while to really emerge. Same with Andy Jean. He and Jean's hurt now, so he's out for a while. But those two guys, I think Mizell will stretch the field a little. I'd be lying if I said I think he's going to be a big factor in their offense. But if he catches a couple over the top and opens up the underneath stuff for everybody else, good for him.
Absolutely. Let's get it to golf. Keegan Bradley won the BMW Championship. He earned $3.6 million for the win and moved to 4th as we head to the Tour Championship to wrap up the PGA Tour season at Eastlake.
Yeah, Castle Pines is such a wonderful place. I've played there.
It was gorgeous.
Yeah, I've played it. It's really.
See, I don't know that I've ever watched the tournament there before.
Well, it went away for a while. I mean, they used to have the International there forever.
Okay.
Which was the point.
But boy, they had some gorgeous scenery, I thought.
Yeah, one of the most beautiful courses I've ever played in my life. I got to play it years ago, and it is a gorgeous, gorgeous track. So it's fun to watch. But yeah, Eastlake is the championship. And I'll give the Tour credit. They have turned the Tour Championship into the 6th really important golf tournament. There's the majors, there's the 4 majors, there's the players, and then there's always been a drop-off. They've done a good job with this. It felt a little gimmicky because of the points thing, but you know what, Hayes? They've made it a big deal. We will all pay, even though college football is starting, we'll all pay attention on Sunday.
I think it really helps that they formatted it to where you don't need to worry about 2 different things. Who's leading the tournament, but where does that put them in the FedEx Cup? Like now it's just basically, look, Scotty Scheffler's going to start at 10 under,
right,
and you drop down, and it's 30 guys in the field for 4 days, and as soon as the tee shots are hit, that's it. It's whoever wins this event wins the title. So, it should be fun to see how the season wraps up. Let's get to Major League Baseball. Yankees superstar Aaron Judge hits his 51st home run of the season, becoming the 5th player in MLB history with 3 or more 50-plus home run seasons. That list, Alex Rodriguez, Babe Ruth, Sammy Sosa, Mark McGwire. When I saw this, I was like, well, what about Barry Bonds? He only had one such season. It was obviously the 73 hit in 2001, but he had 6 seasons with at least 45.
Well, think about this, though, what you just read. The guys that have had 3 50-plus seasons, steroid guys and Babe Ruth.
Right.
Think about that again.
It's amazing.
Steroid guys and Babe freaking Ruth. I don't believe Aaron Judge is on steroids. I think they caught that.
Right.
So there's 2 players in history, if you don't count steroids, that have done it. Babe Ruth and Aaron Judge. What else do you need to say?
It's unbelievable. Let's get it from great to not so great. The Chicago White Sox are 31-100, the worst record through 131 games in 108 years.
31-100. How does that happen? How are you that bad? Obviously, your players have lost belief. So, and I don't watch the White Sox very often, but I watched right before the All-Star break. The Pirates swept them in 4, and Hayes, it didn't even look like a big league team. It really didn't even look like there was any passion, there was any energy. Nobody was in the stands. That's 31-100. Wow.
It's incredible. How about collectibles? We don't do much with collectibles and sports memorabilia and headlines, but we got a great one today. Babe Ruth, his called shot jersey, the one where Babe Ruth says, I'm hitting it over that wall in the World Series.
Pointed to it.
And does it. Sold for a record $24.12 million at auction.
Really?
Becoming by far the most expensive item in sports memorabilia history.
Somebody spent $24 million on a jersey.
Yep. How about that? Isn't that incredible?
There's some people that have too much money.
Yeah, absolutely.
But no, I will say this. The people in the collector's world, our great friends at Showtime, tell me about this all the time. It's amazing how committed they are, and it's a really cool thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Unbelievable. And they're calling it it's like the holy grail of sports memorabilia. I mean, how about that? Babe Ruth's jersey from the called shot game. Unbelievable. We will get it to our pop culture moment now because we had some big news over the weekend. Ted Lasso is back.
Wow.
Season 4 has been greenlit with Jason Sudeikis expected to reprise his role. It's too good to go away.
Yeah.
And, we were almost like, down in the dumps when it was over, and it looked like it was. And they did a brilliant job wrapping it up, but you got to be fired up about season 4.
Oh, you
of Ted
kidding me? I
Lasso.
can't wait. And just the music makes me happy. My question I have, twofold. We know Roy Kent, Hannah Waddingham, and Sudeikis are back. Juno Temple, Coach Beard.
I think they're all back.
Are they all? Because I haven't heard that.
The only report that I saw today was that the actor that plays Jamie has a scheduling conflict.
Okay.
Trust me, they will figure that out.
Yeah.
If he's a big part, if they want him to be a big part in it,
they need him to be on it.
Yeah, I think you'd like to have him. I don't think they have to have Jamie Tart. They've done a nice job with his story. So they could, write him off. He got, moved to another team or something. But my guess is, I've never seen that actor in anything else.
Right.
So my guess is, Phil Dunster, the actor, is going to call his agent and say, this scheduling conflict, make sure this gets worked out.
Yeah, I think one of the most, if you're one of the people that have heard everybody talk about Ted Lasso and never watched it, go back and watch every episode. It's one of the most fun, uplifting, cool, everybody loves it product that has ever been on television. At any level, from CBS, NBC, and ABC back in the 50s to whatever the streaming service you watch now, it's as good as it's ever been. I mean that from the bottom of my heart.
I completely agree. And we will get you out on our musical note of the day because we've got a big anniversary to celebrate. Yesterday marked the 49th anniversary of Bruce Springsteen's Born to Run album, the Boss's third album, which launched him into stardom. The Library of Congress added Born to Run to the National Recording Registry in 2003.
Born to Run, Jungle Land, Thunder Road, all on the same album.
Pretty awesome.
There's only like 7 songs on the album. Do you know that? There's only 7 songs, but it's one of the greatest albums in the history of rock and roll. One of the greatest albums of all time. Well done.
Thank you.
Now it just got better too. We'll take a break. 1 segment to go. We'll wrap it right after this on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
It's the ride home with The Frangie Show. From the Harrell and Harrell studio, don't settle for less than you deserve.
This is Brent Musburger's Action Update, brought to you by Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, here are the latest lines from my guys in the desert.
NFL wrapping up its preseason over the weekend and now have until Tuesday afternoon to get their roster down to the 53-player limit. The regular season opener is going to be on September 5th at Arrowhead Stadium when the Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs take on Baltimore. The Chiefs, an early 3-point favorite at home, minus 156 on the money line. Baltimore plus 132 with an over-under of 46.5. An international game in Brazil Friday. Philadelphia taking on Green Bay. The Eagles favored by 2.5 points with an over-under of 48.5. This update brought to you by Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning, a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm Tony Desiri with your VSiN Action Update on 1010XL.
Did it rain a lot this morning?
No, it was nice and sunny.
Well, the backyard's kind of swampy.
Huh, yeah. Especially where the septic tank is.
Oh, no. When was the last time we had our septic tank pumped?
Don't neglect your septic. Just call Duck Duck Rooter, your local plumbing and septic experts. DuckDuckRooter.com. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
When you're stuck, call the Duck. 904-862-6769.
Hey, sports fans, it's Hays Carlyon for MyBookie. Embrace the start of football season with MyBookie because it's time to get in on the action before these lines start to move. Take advantage of their live betting, especially if a heavy favorite gets off to a slow start. If you haven't signed up, go to mybookie.ag and register for a free account. Use promo code 1010XL to grab a welcome bonus up to $1,000. Let's take a look at some updated MyBookie lines. The Gators are a 2.5-point underdog in the Swamp against the Canes. The over-under is 54.5 points. FSU is a 17-point favorite against visiting Boston College with an over-under of 50.5. The Jaguars, a 3.5-point underdog at the Dolphins. The over-under is 49 points. There are a ton of cool prop bets as well. Sign up with that promo code 1010XL to claim your deposit bonus. Again, it's a bonus up to $1,000. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.
What makes a Honda certified pre-owned vehicle so special? 182-point inspection, 24/7 roadside assistance, first-year free oil changes, and a 7-year, 100,000-mile warranty for carefree driving backed by American Honda. Visit your local Honda dealer today.
When you step into a courtroom, you're stepping into a fight. Someone wins, someone loses. I'm attorney Brett Hastings, and at Hastings Injury Law, we've got the experience you want in your corner if you or a loved one suffer a personal injury or a wrongful death. We're here to fight for you. So if you get hit, hit back with Hastings Injury Law, offices Jacksonville. Find us on the web at 904hitback.com or call our 24-hour helpline, 904-HITBACK.
Hey, this is Bert Cannon with the First Coast YMCA. Youth sports at the Y can help nurture your future athlete's potential and experience the joy of being a kid. At the Y, we're providing a safe, clean, and fun environment with basketball, soccer, volleyball, gymnastics, elite skills training, and more. Best of all, participation in Legacy Youth Sports League is free with your family membership. Visit fcymca.org to learn all about youth sports at the Y.
For the greenest, lushest lawn on the block, choose the local legends, Roundtree Sod. Don't just settle for ordinary. Let Roundtree Sod deliver you a picture-perfect lawn. To get a free estimate, call 7414-SOD. 7414-SOD.
College football is coming. Celebrating another season of college football. This should be fun to watch.
1010XL's college kickoff coverage is brought to you by Jenkins Genesis of Northeast Florida and Island Oaks RV Park.
Let's do it on 1010XL.
Come on. Need or want cash? Beaches Jewelry and Pawn has cash available. Ready to buy guitars, surfboards, jewelry, firearms, tools, and especially gold. They need it all, selling or pawning. Get cash on the spot at Beaches Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you. For lost or broken keys or nearly any make and model of vehicle, call 722-1111 for Instant Keys locksmith service.
Transmission troubles? I'm Robin Sidbury, owner of Action Transmission Specialist on Merrill Road. So come in and see how we can help solve your transmission troubles. We service all makes and models. Remember, get traction. Call Action at 744-0755.
Homeowners, good news for you. Accent on 4. Listen up. Loan Pronto now has mortgage rates that start with a 4. Prosser here. It's true. Mortgage rates have plummeted. So low, we haven't seen them in a long time. If your current rate is over 6%, you can dump it and lower your house payment big time. Loan Pronto just locked in a homeowner at 4.99% APR. So whether you got your loan last week, last month, or last year, it's time to call Loan Pronto. Even if you're in process with another lender, stop now. Call Loan Pronto. Ask about their zero-cost rate reduction home loan. You can lock in a lower rate with no closing costs in a matter of days, with almost no paperwork and usually no appraisal. And if you act now, you can even skip your next 2 house payments. Call now. Loan Pronto can give you a rate quote in minutes with no hard credit pull and no upfront fees like those other guys. Call 904-999-1508 or loanpronto.com. Call 904-999-1508. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781. Owner approved credit, MLSconsumeraccess.org.
Family owned and managed for 20 years, Hidden Hills Golf Club boasts a unique and welcoming golfing atmosphere. Visit us at hiddenhillsgc.com to book your next round on our Arnold Palmer signature course. You'll be glad you did.
Hey folks, this is Dave Benyon with my son Ammon here from Zero Res. Ammon, you've been cleaning air ducts for a while now. What are some of the reasons customers might consider getting their air ducts cleaned?
There are many reasons. Many times, people suffer needlessly from poor indoor air quality produced by the conditions in their air system. Construction dust, the presence of bacterial growth, and years' worth of buildup all come together to make your air ducts a pretty gross place. If you suffer from allergies, have recently moved, recently remodeled, or have never had your air ducts cleaned, then now is the best time to call. By calling Zero Res, you'll have the peace of mind of knowing that you called the best of the best. Our state-of-the-art truck mount system and top-of-the-line service representatives simply can't be found anywhere else. Google Zero Res and read thousands of 5-star reviews.
So what kind of deals can I expect?
Just mention that you heard us on the radio, and we'll give you $100 off your air duct cleaning.
Wow, that sounds like a pretty great deal. Remember, folks, Zero Res,
spelled forward or backwards, it's the right way to clean.
CEROREZ. Zero Res.
Imagine stepping out of your cozy cabin on a crisp fall morning, coffee in hand, a stunning view from your private porch greets you. You spend the day relaxing at the tiki bar or taking a dip in the year-round pool while catching the big game on TV. Welcome to Island Oaks RV Resort, just past McClenny off exit 333. Book your cabin that sleeps 4 to 6 people. A close, affordable getaway with activities for the whole family. Make memories that last at Island Oaks RV Resort. IslandOaksRVResort.com.
This is Dr. Steve Crenshaw, Assistant Team Physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jaguars brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
Head coach Doug Peterson spoke to media today as they shift their focus to finalizing the 53-man roster. Here's Coach Peterson on the challenges of making roster cuts following preseason.
I've been in this business a while now, and it's never easy to make these moves and these decisions, and it's just unfortunate, that's what the rules are. By doing it early, it allows these guys opportunities to be picked up. It's never easy. These guys have busted their tails and have done some good things and really put themselves in a position to hopefully now help another squad.
As roster cuts are tough decisions for the coaches and front office to make, the roster must be final by the NFL's deadline at 4 p.m. tomorrow. I'm Max Fink with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars Update.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, the cool down from the cool guys at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Fast, reliable, and honest service since '87.
All right, where have we been in the program today? We talked a little Jaguar football. Travis Gibson was traded to the Seahawks. That was a little bit of a surprise to some. So what happened there? We talked some Jaguar football. You heard from Trayvon Walker, the terrific edge. Hays caught up with Trayvon earlier today. That was good stuff for sure. We talked Florida State and Georgia Tech, a surprising loss for the Noles. But again, it's not devastating, necessarily devastating, I should say. I said this at the top. The danger isn't, the devastation isn't because you lost a game. In this 12-team playoff, get to 10 wins, get into the conference championship game. Even if you lose that, you're probably in the tournament. The problem is, did it reveal some things that mean more losses are coming? And we certainly talked about that a little bit. Bucky Brooks joined us to talk Jaguar football. I think we all agree that the Jags are at a pretty good place, and I think they are at a pretty good place. We talked about a little bit about in headlines, the fact that Billy Napier and Mario Cristobal work together, know each other very well. One more piece of intrigue in that game, and that is the cool down. That is where we have been this week. Hard to believe we're coming up on it, man. What a good Saturday we're going to have. Oh. And again, I'll say this again. The Noel fans won't see it this way, and I get it. I mean, it's never a good day when you lose, particularly a game you're favored to win. But if you didn't have a dog in the fight, what a first game. What a first game in college football. It looked great in Ireland. The FSU fans really showed up. They were freaking everywhere. Game went back and forth and came down to a 44-yard field goal literally on the last play of the game. It was an amazing.
It's stunning to me how clean the game was. I mean, again, for Florida State to have one penalty and no turnovers, Georgia Tech, I think, only had maybe 3 penalties.
Right.
and no turnovers. Now, Georgia Tech had a couple of snafus with ball security that they were able to overcome.
And a bad false start. The false start
correct,
was 3. They turned 3rd and 2 into 3rd and 7.
Right.
Of course, they threw a ball in the flat and made 25 yards. But
yeah. That's the thing. Like, defensively for Florida State, it just doesn't look, at least in this matchup, doesn't look nearly like what it should look like. Defensive linemen getting driven back, and in some instances, flat embarrassed. I mean, pancaked.
Yeah.
And then linebackers that had no idea where the ball was. And, I mean, just massive gaping spaces for Georgia Tech's ball carriers. And, again, Georgia Tech, they have no passing game. I mean, at all. I mean, in terms of throwing the ball downfield. So, but it was a very well played game on both sides from a turnovers penalty standpoint.
It was a fun watch.
And it was a really fun game.
All right, Rick Ballou was locked into that one. Let's say hello to Rick Ballou.
Now, the 2-minute drill, brought to you by Injury Care Centers. Discover BioTarget Regenerative Therapy, a safer drug-free solution for lasting pain relief. Visit GoBioTarget.com.
All right, Ballou, you'll obviously talk all about it on your show, so don't scoop yourself. But give us your view of this. You know the team better than any of us do. What surprised you most about the Georgia Tech-Florida State game?
What surprised me most is you think you know a team and you don't.
Yeah.
Because this team was supposed to run and stop the run, and they got just dominated on both sides of the ball. So I never saw that coming. And that's not a surprise to me. That is a massive shock to me. I mean, that was the worst defensive team against the run in college football a year ago. They brought in a new defensive coordinator. They brought in 9 transfer portal guys. They ran it, I think it was 32. I have the numbers written on the other side. I think it was 23 carries for 32 yards in the second half.
Wow. Oh.
They ran on first and second down. And what you saw is that a coach said to DJ Uiagalelei, we're not asking you to win it. We're just asking you not to lose it. They showed him no confidence. And then when you needed him to make passes, he did on that final drive on 3rd down and 4th down. It was an awfully called football game by Mike Norvell. And, I still can't believe what happened to them at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, and I hear you. The good thing in today's football is you can bounce back. There's 12 teams in the tournament, and then there's not 2 or 3.
Well, I mean, absolutely they can. Yeah. Right now a lot of people are jumping off cliffs,
right?
And they have an accurate point. They are saying the media lied to us.
Yeah.
The media told us how great this team is. Best defensive line, better than last year. The best offense. I've said it. Best offensive line since they won a national title. And they really struggled on both sides of the ball. So there's more questions than answers right now in Tallahassee.
All right, you'll talk about that in the 53. You're going to
predict
the Jags. Predict the 53?
Oh, yeah. We got all that coming up here over the next 2 hours.
All right, thank you, Rick. Rick Ballou goes into the night. You know he knows the Knowles better than anybody. He'll talk about that. And he'll talk about the potential 53 for the Jags, all coming up in just a bit. That'll do it for our program. Tomorrow, same bad time, same bad channel. For Hays and JJ, I'm Frank Frangie. So long.